Okay, I have a challenge for you, Daniel. And before you say anything, just do it. Don't think, just go.
Oh, that sentence alone makes me nervous. The last time someone said just go, I ended up ordering food in Spanish at an Italian restaurant.
I want you to tell me about yourself. Right now, go.
Okay. I'm Daniel. I drink too much coffee. I once got lost in my own neighborhood, and I still don't know how to fold a fitted sheet.
That is the most honest introduction I've ever heard in my life.
See, I tried to be impressive and somehow ended up talking about bed sheets.
And that, my friend, is exactly the problem. Tell me about yourself is possibly the most simple question in the English language, and somehow it turns smart, capable people into complete blanks.
It really does. Your brain just leaves. It books a ticket and goes somewhere peaceful without you.
Hey, English learners, welcome back to Crack the Lingo, your go-to podcast for learning real, natural English through real conversations. I'm Diana.
And I'm Daniel, and we are so happy you're here today because this one is personal, it's practical, and honestly, it might change the way you see yourself.
Today we are talking about how to talk about yourself confidently in English, not the robotic hello, my name is, and I am 27 years old version. The real version, the warm, natural, interesting version.
The kind that makes people lean in and say, oh, tell me more. That version.
And by the end of this episode, you'll know how to introduce yourself naturally, talk about your background, describe your personality, share what you love, and talk about your goals without feeling like you're reading a boring form.
Real English. Confident English. Your English.
Like, subscribe, and comment section. But before we go further, if you're watching on YouTube, please take 1 second and hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this podcast.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We put a lot of love into every episode, and we don't want you to miss a single one.
And here's today's comment question. Write 1 sentence introducing yourself in the comments. Just 1 sentence. Simple is perfect. We'll be reading every single one.
Come on, don't be shy. This is a safe space. Fitted sheets and all.
Okay, so let's start with the real question. Why is this so hard?
Right? Because it sounds like it should be the easiest thing. You know yourself. You've been yourself your whole life. And yet someone asks, tell me about yourself, and suddenly you forget your own name.
I think part of the problem is the question is too open. There's no clear starting point. Do you talk about your job, your family, where you grew up, your dreams, your cat?
My cat is actually a very important part of my story, for the record.
Another reason it feels hard is something called being self-conscious.
Self-conscious. That means you are very aware of yourself in that moment, how you sound, what you're saying, what the other person is thinking. And for English learners, there's an extra level. You're thinking about what to say and how to say it in another language. That's a lot happening at once.
And I want to say this clearly, that nervous, slightly panicked feeling, it's completely normal. Even native English speakers freeze when someone asks this question.
Trust me, I just told you about my fitted sheet situation. Nobody is smooth all the time.
So today we're taking all the pressure off. Talking about yourself in English is a skill, and like any skill, you can learn it, practice it, and get better at it.
Step by step. Together. Let's go.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. You meet someone new, what do you actually say?
Because the version most people learn in English class sounds like this. Hello, my name is Daniel. I am 32 years old. I live in a city. I work in an office. And then everyone stares at you.
It sounds like you're filling out a government form.
Very accurate. And in real life, that kind of introduction gives the other person nothing to hold on to. There's no personality, no warmth, nothing to respond to.
A good introduction does one thing. It gives the other person something to grab onto, a thread to pull.
A thread to pull. I like that. Like one small, interesting detail that makes them want to know more.
Yes, the detail doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need to say, I climbed a mountain or I met a president. It can be small and human.
You might say something like, hey, I'm Daniel. I'm actually from a really small town, which is funny because I can't seem to stay in one place now. And now someone wants to ask, oh, where do you live? Where have you been?
Or you could say, I'm Diana. I grew up speaking 2 languages, which sounds impressive until you realize I mix them up constantly. Small, honest, and immediately interesting.
So the simple formula is your name, 1 line about your background or life now, and 1 small, honest detail that invites a question.
And the goal isn't to be impressive. The goal is to make the other person feel comfortable and curious. Those are two very different things.
Comfortable and curious. Write that down.
Okay, so you've introduced yourself. Now someone says, so what's your background? Where are you from? What do you do? And again, there are 1,000 ways to answer this.
So many people just give a list. I'm from Egypt. I studied business. I work in sales. I live in Dubai. Full stop.
Which gives information, yes, but it doesn't give a story.
And people connect with stories, not lists.
So instead of a list, tell a short story. Add a little color. For example, instead of I'm from Egypt, I studied business, you could say, I grew up in Cairo, which is this incredible, loud, beautiful city that never actually sleeps. I studied business there, and then I ended up in Dubai a few years ago, which honestly surprised me.
See? Same information, completely different feeling. Now I want to know more. How did you end up there? What surprised you?
And notice those little words, which is, honestly, ended up. Those small additions make you sound real.
I ended up is actually one of my favorite phrases because life rarely goes exactly to plan, right? I ended up in this job. I ended up in this city. I ended up loving something I never expected.
It sounds natural and a little bit honest, like you're saying, life surprised me, and I went with it.
Other useful phrases for your background are, I grew up in, for where you were raised. I have a background in, for your education or work. These days I'm, for what's happening in your life right now.
And one tip, connect your past and your present. Show a little journey, like, I studied engineering, but I ended up going into teaching. And honestly, it was the best unexpected turn.
Now there's contrast. Now I want to hear more. What happened? Why teaching? That's a conversation starter.
Every sentence should open a small door, not close it.
Okay, here we go. This might be the hardest one. So, how would you describe yourself as a person?
And without fail, everyone says the same 3 things.
I'm a hard worker.
I'm very passionate.
I'm a people person.
What does people person even mean at this point?
Nothing. It has been said so many times it has lost all meaning. It's like saying, I breathe air. Yes, so does everyone.
The secret to describing your personality well is not to just label yourself, it's to show it.
Show, don't just tell. Instead of saying, I'm funny, give a tiny example of how you're funny. Instead of saying, I'm curious, show what your curiosity looks like.
For example, instead of I'm very organized, you might say, I'm the kind of person who makes a to-do list and then makes a second list to check the first one. Now I believe you. Now I can picture you.
Exactly. It's specific. It's visual. It makes the other person smile.
Some phrases that really help here are I tend to be, like I tend to be quite quiet when I first meet someone, but I warm up fast. It sounds self-aware.
People say I'm, like people say I'm easy to talk to, which I hope is true and not just something they say to be polite.
And one of my favorites, I'm the kind of person who. It works for almost anything. I'm the kind of person who always over-apologizes. I'm the kind of person who always has snacks in their bag. Real, honest, specific.
And here's something important. You don't have to only talk about your strengths. Mentioning one small imperfection actually makes you more likable.
Because nobody connects with someone who sounds perfect. We connect with people who feel real, a little messy, a little human.
Exactly. So don't just label yourself. Show us a small moment, a small habit, a small truth. That's what personality actually looks like.
Okay, hobbies. This is where people either come completely alive or go totally flat.
Flat how?
The flat version sounds like this. I like reading, I like cooking, I like going for walks. And then there's silence and someone changes the subject.
Because there's nothing to hold on to. There's no feeling in it.
But if you talk about your hobbies the way you actually feel about them, it changes everything.
The phrase that helps most here is I'm really into. It means you genuinely enjoy something. I'm really into street photography. I'm really into old films. It's stronger than just I like.
And even better than that, add one specific detail, why you love it, how you got into it, a small story around it.
For example, instead of saying I like music, you could say I'm really into music, especially old vinyl records. There's something about holding an actual record, putting it on and just sitting with the sound. It feels like a little ritual.
See, now I want to know which records, which artists, what that ritual feels like. You gave it texture.
All because you added one real detail.
You might also say something like, I got into baking completely by accident during a long holiday. I made one banana bread, it turned out perfectly, and I've been trying to recreate that moment ever since.
That's a story. That's interesting. That's a conversation. So the simple formula for hobbies is name it, add feeling, and add one specific detail. That's it.
And don't be afraid to show a little bit of enthusiasm. When someone talks about something they genuinely love, it's magnetic. People want to stay in that energy.
Honest enthusiasm is always more interesting than trying to sound impressive.
Okay, goals and dreams. This one makes people feel vulnerable.
It does, because saying your goals out loud means letting people see what you want. And then your brain starts saying, what if I don't reach it? What if they judge me? What if they think it's silly?
And that fear stops a lot of people from sharing their goals at all.
But here's the thing. You don't have to share everything, and you don't have to make it sound huge or perfect. You can be very human about it.
You can say something like, I'm working towards learning a new skill this year. I'm not sure exactly where it'll take me, but I'm curious. Working towards is a great phrase because it sounds active. It shows progress without pressure.
Or you could say, something I really want to do is travel more and actually slow down when I'm there. Not just collect places, but really experience them.
Something I really want to do is very natural. Not too big, not too small.
And here's a useful trick. Connect your goal to your why. Not just what you want, but why you want it.
Because I want to start a business is fine, but I want to start a business because I want to build something that helps people. Now there's a reason. Now there's a feeling. Now I'm interested.
Goals with a why invite conversation. Goals without a why just sit there quietly.
And one more thing. You don't have to have everything figured out. It's completely okay to say, I'm not totally sure yet, but I know I want to move in this direction.
That's actually one of the most confident things you can say, because pretending you have all the answers isn't confidence. Being honest about where you are, calmly and clearly, that's confidence.
Real confidence, not performance.
Okay, this is the balance that trips a lot of people up. You want to sound confident, but you don't want to sound like you're bragging.
And there's a very useful phrase here, come across.
Come across means how other people experience you, how you appear to them. For example, I want to come across as confident, but warm. It's about the impression you leave.
And the difference between confidence and arrogance is actually quite simple. Confident people can talk about what they've done without making others feel small. Arrogant people make it sound like they're better than everyone else because of it.
Big difference between I'm really proud of what I've built and I'm the best at what I do.
One feels grounded and human. The other makes people slowly look for the exit.
And confident people listen too. Real confidence isn't just about talking, it's about being genuinely curious about the other person.
A phrase that strikes the right balance is, I'm really proud of. You can use it for something you worked hard on. I'm really proud of how much my English has improved this year. Personal, honest, specific.
Or one thing I've learned about myself is, this shows self-awareness. One thing I've learned about myself is that I work best when I have a clear goal. That sounds mature and real.
And here's a word we use a lot when talking about this, humble.
Humble means you're grounded. You don't think you're better than others. A humble person can talk about their achievements without making the room feel small.
And being humble does not mean putting yourself down. That's a very common mistake. Humble is not, oh, I'm not that great, honestly.
Humble is more like, I've worked hard for this and I still have a lot to learn. That person, easy to be around.
Confident enough to share, humble enough to listen. That is the version of yourself you want to bring to every conversation.
All right, we've talked about the ideas. Now let's give you the actual tools, real phrases you can use the next time someone asks about you.
We're going to go through them group by group. Listen, repeat if you like, and think about where you could use each one in your own life.
First group, introducing yourself.
Hi, I'm Diana. I'm originally from a small city, but I've been living abroad for a few years now.
I'm based in London at the moment, but I'm actually from the countryside, which means London still surprises me sometimes.
I'm Daniel. I work in education, mostly online. I love what I do, honestly.
Second group, talking about your background.
I grew up in a really small town, so moving to a big city was quite an adjustment.
I studied engineering, but I ended up going into business. And honestly, there's more overlap than you'd think.
I've done a lot of different things over the years. I like saying I've worn a lot of hats.
Worn a lot of hats means you've done many different jobs or roles in your life. Very natural phrase.
Third group, describing your personality.
I tend to be quite quiet when I first meet someone, but I warm up pretty quickly.
I'm the kind of person who always has a plan, and a backup plan, and sometimes a backup for the backup.
People say I'm easy to talk to, which I really hope is true.
I'm a bit of an overthinker. I'm working on it. Small, honest, and very relatable.
Fourth group, talking about hobbies and interests.
I'm really into cooking, especially trying recipes from countries I've never visited. It's like traveling through food.
I've recently gotten into running. I hated it for the first 3 weeks, but now I actually look forward to it, which surprised me more than anyone.
Reading is kind of my way of unwinding. A good book and a cup of tea, and the world disappears for a while.
Fifth group, talking about goals.
Something I'm working towards this year is improving my public speaking. It makes me nervous, which is exactly why I want to get better at it.
I'd love to travel more, especially slower travel. Not rushing, just actually being somewhere.
One day, I want to write something. I'm not sure what yet, but the feeling is very clear, even if the plan isn't.
And finally, phrases to keep the conversation going.
It's a long story, but the short version is, use this when your background is complicated and you want to keep it light.
That's actually a really good question. This gives you a moment to think, but don't overuse it.
It's funny you ask that because a smooth way to bring in a story or example.
And remember, these aren't scripts, they are tools. Take the ones that feel like you. Practice them out loud. Make them your own.
You don't need to sound like Daniel. You don't need to sound like me. You need to sound like yourself, just with better phrases.
Before we close today, we want to leave you with a few questions to think about.
First, how do you usually feel when someone asks you to talk about yourself? Do you freeze? Do you give a very short answer? Or do you try to say a little more?
Second, is there one thing about yourself, your background, your personality, your goals, that you find hard to talk about in English? Why do you think that is?
And third, what's one true thing about yourself that you want people to know? Something that feels like you?
You don't need to answer these out loud, but thinking about them, really thinking, can change how you see yourself in conversations.
Because here's the truth. You are interesting. You have a story, and that story is worth sharing.
You just need the right words and the courage to begin.
All right, let's bring it all together. Today we talked about how to talk about yourself confidently in English.
We talked about introducing yourself with one small, honest detail, telling your background like a story, not a list, describing your personality by showing, not just labeling, sharing your hobbies with real feeling and one specific detail.
Talking about your goals with honesty and your why behind them, and finding the balance between confidence and humility.
And the big lesson today, you don't need one perfect answer. You need a few real phrases, a few honest details, and the courage to begin.
And now it's your turn. Go to the comments right now and write one sentence introducing yourself. One sentence, that's it. You don't need to write your whole life story.
We are going to read every single comment, so don't be shy.
And if this episode helped you, share it with one English learner in your life, because the best gift you can give someone is a little more confidence.
Keep practicing, keep showing up, and keep putting your real self into your English.
Your English is growing every single day, even on the days you don't feel it.
This is Diana.
And this is Daniel.
And you've been listening to Crack the Lingo.
We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.